I hate theater. Well, it's so disappointing, isn't it? You know what I do when I'm sitting in a darkened theater waiting for the show to begin? I pray. Oh, God, please let the show be good. And let it be short, oh Lord in heaven, please. 2 hours is fine, but 3 hours is too long. And keep the actors out of the audience, God. I did not pay good money to have the fourth wall come crashing down around my ears. I just want a story. And a couple of songs that will take me away. I want to be entertained. I mean, isn't that the point? Amen. You know, there was a time when people sat in darkened theaters and thought to themselves, what have George and Ira Gershwin got for us tonight? Or, can Cole Porter pull it off again? Can you imagine? And now it's just, please, Elton John, must we continue this charade? It used to be, sitting there in the dark, you knew that when the show began, you would be taken to another world. A world full of color and music and glamour. And you thought to yourself, my God, when are they going to bring up the lights? Oh, how things have changed. Hello. How are we today? I'm feeling a little blue myself. You know? A little anxious for no particular reason. A little sad that I should feel anxious at my age, you know? A little self-conscious anxiety resulting in non-specific sadness. A state that I like to call blue. Anyway, whenever I'm feeling this way, blue, I like to listen to my music, so I was going through my box of records this morning. Yes, records. And I was about to put on the soundtrack recording of Meredith Willson's The Music Man. I had a craving for young Ronnie Howard. But then I thought, no, let's have a treat. Let's disappear for a while into the decadent world of the 1920s, where champagne flowed while the caviar chilled and the world was a party. For the wealthy, anyway. So I dug about, and what did I find but one of my favorite shows, Gable and Stein's The Drowsy Chaperone. Remember? Music by Julie Gable, lyrics by Sidney Stein. It's a 2-record set remastered from the original recording in 1928. It's the full show, with the original cast, including Beatrice as Chaperone. Isn't she elegant? And this was a full 15 years before she became known as Dame Beatrice Stockwell. Can you believe it? Let me read you what it says on the back. It says, mix-ups, mayhem, and a gay wedding. Of course, the phrase gay wedding has a different meaning now, but back then it just meant fun. And that's just what this show is. Fun. Would you indulge me? Would you let me put the record on for you now? Sure. I was hoping you'd say yes. You hear that static? I love that sound. To me, it's the sound of a time machine starting up. Okay, now, let's visualize. Imagine, if you will, it's November 1928. You have just arrived at the doors of the Morosco Theater in New York. It's very cold and Remember when it used to be cold in November? Not anymore. November is the new August now. It's global warming, we're all doomed. Anyway, it's very cold and a heavy gray sleet is falling, but you don't care. Because you're going to see a Broadway show. Listen. Isn't this wonderful? It helps if you close your eyes. Overtures. Overtures are out of style now. I miss them. It's the show's way of welcoming you. Hello, welcome. The meal will be served shortly, but in the meantime, would you like an appetizer? And that's what an overture is. It's a musical appetizer. A poo-poo platter of tunes, if you will. Oh, something new. Sounds like a dance tune. Kind of rollicking. Maybe involving pirates. No, don't worry, there are no pirates. This is it. This is that moment when the music starts to build and you know you're only seconds away from being transported.
madam.
Good thing I brought my own. Champagne makes me drowsy.
It's really happening. Truly happening. Almost happening. What is happening?
Tricks, the aviatrix, queen of the sky. I circle through the stratus in my modern apparatus. Tricks, the aviatrix, I gotta fly. I'll see ya when it's time.
A wedding, hooray! Dealing, a wedding, it's coming our way. So there we have it. All of the guests have arrived. We have a bride who's giving up the stage for love, her debonair bridegroom, a harried producer, jovial gangsters posing as pastry chefs, a flaky Corinne, a Latin Lothario, and an aviatrix, what we now call a lesbian. And of course, my favorite character, the Drowsy Chaperone. What more do you need for an evening's entertainment? Isn't that wonderful? And we will ding along? I don't even know what that means. Okay, I'll try to guide you through this record as best as can. Don't worry, it won't be hard to follow. So we begin with the welcome from the love-struck groom.
I just wanted to thank you all for coming. I tell you, I must be some lucky fellow. I would have thought that I, Robert Martin, would be marrying a glamorous showgirl, and that glamorous showgirl would be willing to give up a successful career for me. Robert Martin! Now, if it weren't for Prohibition, I'd say, let's raise a glass! To Miss Janet Vandegraff, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Absolutely not.
Excuse me?
The groom mustn't see his bride on the day of the wedding. It's bad luck.
I hope you heard that because that's the plot, basically. Hold on for a ride.
Breakfast will be served in the Arabian room. Say, it's a little early in the day to be drinking, don't you think? I don't understand the question. Look, you just keep Janet away from Robert, you understand? You're the chaperone, it's your only job. I'm mon capitaine. Oh, Robert, who's my little monkey?
I'm your little monkey.
And so the bride and groom are whisked away, and we turn our attention to the B plot, which involves the producer.
Mr. Delphi!
Getting married and leaving show.
Mr. Delphi!
Doesn't she know I've got obligations?
Mr. Delphi! I could be your leading lady. You said it yourself. I'm useless in the chorus.
Kitty, for the last time, you ain't got what it takes.
But I've been taking lessons. Singing, acting, ballet.
Ballet?
Yeah, I'm pretty good too. Last week I auditioned for Swanee Lip.
A little annotation. Kitty and Feltic were a couple in real life. Jack and Sadie Adler. And now, this is a familiar comedic construct. A stupid woman and her long-suffering companion. Well, she appears stupid, but in the end she does something clever and makes everyone wonder whether it's all been an act. The irony here is that Sadie actually was quite stupid. Jack had to explain all the jokes to her, apparently. But still, she had a wonderful career on stage. At the time, the theater was the only place where stupid people could earn a decent living. This was before television, of course.
Kitty, I don't have time for this.
Oh, petit four, Mr. Felton.
Not now.
Perhaps a nice buffet or all.
Boys, not hungry.
Then perhaps we can give you something else to chew on.
What?
The confusion is to be expected. Although we stand here before you in the guise of innocent pastry chefs, we are also
primarily
employees of a certain individual
A certain
Who
individual.
happens to be the largest single investor in all of Feltic's follies.
He has sent us here
pastry chef.
to express his concern about Miss Vandergraff's impending nuptials.
Specifically.
That if she gets married and leaves the show, then there ain't no show.
No, you don't.
Have you ever spent any time in Toledo?
Have you ever spent any time in a coma?
No, but I have a cousin in Seattle.
Kitty! Boys, you tell your boss this wedding is never going to happen. You have my word.
Yeah, we'll take your word, eh?
But to go back on that word would be a recipe for disaster. We hope we have made ourselves perfectly eclairs.
Scandoli,
Be Scotty, be kidding me.
trifle man.
Don't talk with me.
All right. You can drop the pastry chef routine.
Alas, we can ask.
We're on the lamb.
Lamb's an entree, you macaroon.
The gangsters were played by interchangeable vaudeville duo, the Tall brothers, John and Peter Tall. They were born Abraham and Mendel Masloskowicz, but were renamed at Ellis Island by a sarcastic immigration official. They were an early example of the typical Broadway gangster, full of stylized movement and wordplay. Not very intimidating. Unless you find dancers intimidating, which I do, but not for reasons that would be appropriate to the situation.
We'll leave the matter in your hands, Mr. Feltic. In the meantime,
Feel free to browse the dessert carousel.
Try the Toledo surprise.
it's to die for. Holy cats, Mr. Feltic! They're gangsters!
Oh, very perceptive. Now go powder your face. I've got to stop this wedding, but how? Oh, Lord in heaven, how? How? Ah!
I've always thought that moment was a little overplayed. So, with the story well on its way, let's go to the groom's room.
Hey there, handsome. Show me those pearly whites.
The groom was played by the dashing Percy Hyman. He started out as the Albright toothpaste guy. His fabulous smile adorned every tube. Albright was hugely popular in the 1920s because it contained cocaine. Yeah, it's true. If you looked at the label, it was the fifth ingredient down, right after sugar. Anyway, it wasn't long before he became a huge matinee idol.
Now, don't you worry. It is perfectly normal for a groom to be nervous on his wedding day. It is? Of course it is!
I love Percy Hyman. Now, some people say he was a bad actor, but to those people, I say, shut up.
Hey there, Mr. Mirror Man. Shaken and quaking, trembling like them fraidy cats do. Something big be bothering you. Cold feet, brother, you've got cold feet. You can make them cold feet hot.
Simon was a wonderful performer. I'd like to think of him panting and sweating after a long dance routine. He's still alive, you know. I saw him on the news recently, celebrating his 100th birthday. To say that the passing years had taken their toll on him would be a grotesque understatement. They wheeled him out and he had that wide-eyed look of pained confusion that God reserves for the very, very old on their birthdays. You know what I mean? The one that says, "Who are you? Who am I? And why is this cake on fire?" Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyway.
All right, that's enough of that. Dancing around like a fool.
Sorry, Jane, I was just trying to calm my nerves. It is my wedding day, after all.
Well, you could have snapped an ankle. Tap dancing is too dangerous. Say, why don't you try going out for a skate instead? Yeah, that's why you never want to blow off some steam.
What'd I do without you?
Wait! No, you can't go like that, my friend. You might see Janet. Here, put on this blindfold, why don't you?
Jane, you think of everything!
I'm just looking out for you, my boy. And no more tap dancing. When bells will ring, when bells will chime, when bells will celebrate.
Okay, just ignore it. It does this occasionally. It rings. It'll stop soon. Just ignore it. What? What do you want? Hello, you have reached my answering machine. Leave a short message after the tone and I will call you back at my convenience. And I'm very likely in, so do not interpret this as an invitation to burgle. Well, that's it, isn't it? The moment is ruined. Thank you, life. It's like a cell phone going off in a theater. God, I hate that. Hello, what are you doing? Oh, I'm at the theater, ruining the moment. How about you? Oh, I couldn't get out tonight, so I thought I'd ruin the moment by proxy. Sorry. Relax. Let's just shake that off. Let's go back in our minds to 1928. They didn't have cell phones in 1928. Although I'm sure they had something for the ruining of moments. Bugles or something. And so the scene shifts, and we find the bride, the glamorous Janet Vandegraff, entertaining questions from reporters as she lounges by the pool.
Miss Vandegraff, is it true you're leaving a successful career to marry a man you hardly know?
Yes, Robert and I met in the Lido at Deck of the Ile-de-France. He amused me with stories of his father's oil interests. We spooned, briefly, and then he proposed.
So you won't be returning to the stage? Ever?
I shan't.
You shan't.
I shan't.
Can we quote you on that?
Of course. One more question. Yes?
Why in the world would anyone put olives in a Gibson?
I've got a question. How could you give up the footlights when you know very well that you have grease paint in your veins?
Victor, please.
Oh, Janet, I am begging you. Dump the mug. Stay with the follies. I'll give you anything you want. Oh, fine. I'll put your name above mine on the marquee.
Victor, please. If you think this is about vanity, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to sing tunes no more. I don't want to ride moons no more. I don't want to show off off. I don't want to wear this no more. Play the saucy Swiss no more. Blow my signature no more. I don't want to show off.
Janet, please.
Don't try to control me. I've made up my mind, and that's it. I quit. I'm leaving it all behind. I don't want to be cute no more. Make the gentleman hoot no more. I don't want to wear fruit no more. I don't want to show off.
You don't wanna show off no more. Bring your name and our news no more. Get your love and reviews no more.
Gee, I don't want to show off.
She don't wanna show off.
I don't want to show off.
She don't wanna show off no more. Off no more.
Not me. I don't want to show off. Please, no more attention. I'm counting to 10. And I'm through. Adieu. You'll never see this. You'll never see this. Never see this. Never see that. Never see these again. I don't wanna change these no more. I don't wanna stir teas no more. I don't wanna say cheese no more. I don't care if you scoff. I don't wanna be cheered no more, praised no more, grabbed no more, touched no more, loved no more. I don't wanna show off. 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 No more. Did I miss something?
Well, Mr. Feldzig, it's painfully obvious Miss Vandergraft has no desire to continue a life on stage.
Can't you see it's killing us all?
Don't you worry, boys. This isn't over yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't do an encore.
I don't want an encore no more. Keep on shouting for more no more. Make the audience roar no more. I don't want to show off.
Jane Roberts as the bride. She was the Oops girl, remember? Surely you people remember the Oops girl. Don't you people read? She was billed as the girl whose sexual energy was so great that it would cause the men around her to have accidents. Spill their drinks or run their cars into trees. And she would go, oops. I'm really not doing it justice, but people ate it up. She made a whole series of films. Oops, The Oops Girl, and Oops Girl Comes Home. And Oops Girl at Sea, which won an Oscar for special effects.
Okay, so begging and groveling didn't work. On the plan B, and for that, I'm gonna need an accomplice. Someone gullible with loose morals. I need what do you call him? A European!
In walks Aldolfo, self-proclaimed ladies' man. Aldolfo was played by the former silent film star and world-class alcoholic, Roman Bartelli. He was the one who later drank himself to death at a chateau in Nice. Remember? It was 5 days before they found the body, but then it had been partially consumed by poodles. He was only partially consumed.
Excuse me, I don't believe we've met.
I am Adolfo.
You are Adolfo?
Yes, I am Adolfo.
Not the Adolfo.
Yes, I am Adolfo.
Funny, you don't look like a scoundrel.
Yes, what?
Like just now, I overheard the groom saying that Adolfo was a scoundrel. I just heard him say that.
What? Adolfo, a scoundrel?
Those very words.
Adolfo's a scoundrel.
It's like I'm hearing it again.
This is outrageous. He's saying this to people, to beautiful ladies with breasts for making love. Why? I must.
You must, or you must take matters into your own hands.
Yes, I must take this groom into my hands and kill him.
Yes! No, don't kill him, just hurt him enough so he can't get married.
Show me to this groom. Wait! What kind of man is this groom? Big man?
Oh, well.
A burly fellow?
Oh, well, he's big on the outside.
Oh, no. Adolfo will not fight big men. Small, hale, weak little poor people that Adolfo can hug all away. But no big men.
So, you're a lover, not a fighter.
Yes. Adolfo is a lover of beautiful ladies. Some call me the king of romance.
Well, you know what they say. The best way to get revenge on a man is through his...
Door.
No. The best way to get back at a man is through his...
Window.
No. Revenge. Back at a man through his...
Up through his... What? There is no other way. I'm not Santa Claus coming down the chimney. Through his woman.
Yes, Adolfo.
His woman.
He must seduce his woman.
Adolfo make love to the bride. That will show people that Adolfo is no scum. Show me to this bride. Wait,
What?
what kind of woman is this bride? A big woman?
No.
A burly woman?
No, she's the cat's pajamas.
Pajamas?
She's a looker, an attractive woman.
Show me to this cat. Yes, I'm like,
Stop it!
like a cat. Yes.
Roman Bartelli chewing the scenery. You certainly couldn't get away with a performance like that nowadays, could you? Mature, contemporary audiences are too sophisticated to enjoy broad racial stereotyping on stage. So we banished them to Disney. Let the children sort it out.
Underling? Yes, madam. The pastry chefs have been kind enough
provide the liquor for the party. But remember, underling, we have to be discreet.
Yes, madam.
It is prohibition, after all.
I'm aware of that, madam.
We'll have to use code words. For instance, if someone asks for a glass of ice water, it means they want a glass of vodka. Have you got that?
Yes, madam.
Are you sure? Maybe you should write it down.
I understand, madam. A glass of ice water is a glass of vodka.
What's a glass of ice water?
Vodka.
Ice water.
Vodka.
Ice water.
Vodka.
Ice water.
Vodka.
Ice vodka. Well, that's settled then. One less thing to do. Underling, might I please have a glass of ice water? I found our meeting with the pastry chefs rather trying, and I would enjoy a refreshing glass of ice water. Your ice water, madam. That's your vodka, you poop!
Oh, I hate this scene.
Well, now I do need a glass of ice water. A glass of ice water, madam? Yes, ice water. Are you going deaf? Would that I were.
You can see where this is going, can't you? It's really just a series of spit takes.
Your ice water, madam. That's your vodka, you poop!
You know, in some ways, the Drowsy Chaperone was quite progressive.
Your ice water, madam. That's your vodka, you poop!
Yes, some elements were progressive. Others were stale in 1928. You know what? I'm going to skip ahead.
Some lime juice, madam.
Lime juice? For heaven's sakes, why?
I'm going to wring out my eyebrows and make myself a gimlet.
And now you're probably wondering to yourself, now what was that routine doing in this show? Well, it's quite simple, really. There's a song coming up, and they needed something to allow for the set change. It's simple, it's mechanics. It's like pornography. Let me explain what I meant by that. In pornography, the story is simplistic. How do I pay for this pizza being the classic example. My point being, as in a musical, the story only exists to connect the longer, more engaging production numbers. What? Well, what kind of society do we live in if we can't discuss the similarities between pornography and musical theater?
In a few hours, I'm going to be Mrs. Robert Martin. Oh, my head is spinning.
Yes, life is a mad whirlwind.
This is a really interesting scene. This is the only scene where Jane Roberts and Beatrice Stockwell are alone on stage together. Now, Jane Roberts was an emerging star, but Beatrice Stockwell was well established and a force to contend with.
I'm so full of apprehension, but I suppose that's normal, considering the circumstances. Have you ever been married, Chaperone?
No, I drink out of pleasure, not out of necessity.
Your ice water, madam. I'm afraid you've eaten all the olives.
Have you ever been married, Angela?
Heavens, no, madam. If I'm going to serve a woman, I prefer to be paid for my efforts.
I know it seems crazy to give up a successful career to marry a man I hardly know, but somehow, for some reason, when I look into his eyes, his big monkey eyes, aw, gee, I get all woozy, and that's love, isn't it?
Not necessarily. The wooziness could be caused by
love.
Now, Beatrice Stockwell was famous for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired troops in every major world conflict up to and including the Falklands War. Of course, by then she was in her 80s, and her anthems didn't so much rouse as stupefy. But still, she demanded that a rousing anthem be in every show she ever did, even if it wasn't appropriate, but you just couldn't say no to her. That's star power.
Really, you're not being the least bit helpful. Couldn't you at least allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration?
Inspiration? Really, dear? That's not my forte.
Yes, but if you...
As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble our way into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do. Still we tumble our way through life's crazy labyrinth, barely knowing left from right nor right from wrong. And the best that we can do is hope the bluebird will sing his song as we stumble along.
That was quite inspiring, Chaperone, but I don't see how it pertains to my situation.
Let me explain. It's a dismal little world in which we live. You're never knowing when there's nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents, and half a cup. Please. Still, you mustn't let it lick your this planet. Oh, so black. Keep your eyeball on the highball in your hand as we stumble along through life's crowded dance floor, as we push and we shove, we live and we learn, and when we finally leave the bar and we see that morning star, we pull our bootstraps up and homeward turn. Then we stumble away through dawn's blinding sunbeams, barely knowing right from right nor left from wrong. But as long as we can hear that little bluebird, there'll be a song as we stumble along, as we stumble, bumble, fumble, palumble, as we stumble
She sings a rousing anthem about alcoholism. That's what I love about her. She just does whatever she wants, whenever she wants, regardless of the need to concerns of others. My mother was quite like that.
Well, that was quite nice, Chaperone, but I'm still conflicted. Oh, please just tell me, is Robert the man for me?
I'm afraid that's something you'll have to decide for yourself.
But I just don't know if he loves me.
Well, why don't you ask him? Why don't you say,
Oh, Roger, do you love me?
It's Robert. And I'm not allowed to see him. In fact, it's your job to keep me away from him.
oh, yes, you're right, and I take my responsibility very seriously. However, I'm just this moment feeling terribly, terribly drowsy. I'm afraid I'll have to take a little lie down. Now, whatever you do, don't go searching through the garden to find your fiancé to ask him the question upon which your future happiness depends.
Oh, thank you, Chaperone. I just need to know if he loves me.
Such a skinny little fool. Still, I envy her. Oh, when did love come crashing through my door?
La 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 la!
Oh, it is Aldolfo come to seduce the bride.
I am Adolfo.
Try not to think of the poodles while you're listening to this part.
I am Adolfo, and you are the bride.
No, I am not.
What? But this is the bridal suite, and you are the only one here. Therefore, you must be the bride.
Nice argument, but I'm afraid you are a moron.
What?
Me, no bride. Perhaps I could take a message.
Yes, very good. Dear Van de Graaf bride, I must make love and transport you to a place of ecstasy. Sooner is better. Signed, Adolfo, the king of romance.
Well, you soften my little ruse. You found me out.
Ah, so you are the bride.
Apparently, yes. Take me a doll face.
Oh, no! Not a doll face. Adolfo. You must say the right name for when we are making love and you're screaming. You must say the right name. It will spoil everything. How can I make you remember? I'm sure that you have heard the name Adolfo. A ladies' man who wins a claim Adolfo. Well, lovely miss, I am the same Adolfo. I introduce myself, I am Adolfo.
Nice to meet you. Shall we?
Not so fast. So just in case you didn't hear Adolfo, I'll try to make it very clear Adolfo. The lovely ladies always hear Adolfo. When I repeat myself, I am Adolfo.
Understood.
I can sing it high. I can sing it low, Adolfo. I can sing it very fast. I can sing it very slowly. I would do it now, but it would take hours. Now let's see if you can remember my name.
I'll give it a shot.
Now who's the fellow that you see?
Adolfo.
And how should you refer to me?
Adolfo.
And who is it? I'll always be.
Adolfo.
Now say it proudly.
You are Adolfo.
Now let me spell it out for you. For all you ladies in the audience who could not hear because maybe you are hard of hearing or something. I don't know. It goes down.
That was my mother's favorite number in the show. I think it was one of her secret fantasies to be swept off her feet by the Latin lover. I mean a real Latin lover, not a buffoon. But that's what musicals are all about, right? Romantic fantasy, falling in love at the drop of a hat, spontaneous tangoing, suddenly finding yourself in an insanely romantic setting.
I'm an accident waiting to happen. La-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Robert, look out!
Don't worry, madam. I'm getting married today, so I have to wear a blindfold.
A blindfold?
Say, who am I speaking to anyhow?
Why, it's me. I mean, me from France.
The scene couldn't be any more ridiculous.
So, you are marrying Jeanne van der Graaf, no?
Oh, oui.
I hear she's very beautiful
Oh, oui.
and very glamorous.
Oh, oui, oui.
Is it true that she has an exceptionally broad range and excels at playing both comedic and dramatic roles?
Say, I'm having a little trouble placing your accent. What part of France did you say you were from?
The middle part, where they make the toast. So, you were telling me about your, how do you say it in English? Fiancé?
Oh, that's right.
So tell me, when was the moment you knew she was the only one for you?
It's a funny story, actually. We were standing on the Lido deck of the Ile-de-France,
Yes.
and I was amusing her with stories of my father's oil interests.
And then what happened?
Well, then I looked into her eyes, her big, glamorous eyes, and I felt all woozy.
And then you fell. And then you fell?
That's right on my keister. And I said, well, I guess I don't have my sea legs yet.
We haven't left the door.
That's what she said. And that's when I knew it must be love.
And then what happened?
Well, then I said, there was a time I could stop on a dime. Forbearance was one of my talents. But since you've been around, I can't hold my ground. I'm consistently losing my balance. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I'm a mishap about to ensue. I'm the toy on the stair, the three-legged chair, the hem that's been caught by a shoe. When my two lovesick arms started flapping, there was nothing my ankles could do. I'm an accident waiting to happen, so happy I happen to you.
Then
we kissed. I'm an accident waiting to happen. So hurry and happen to me. Oh no, what have I done?
Well, it seems like the blindfold and the fake French accent have led to a terrible misunderstanding. What a mess. Will it all work out in the end? Of course it will. It's not real. It's a musical. Everything always works out in musicals. In real life, nothing ever works out, and the only people who burst into song are the hopelessly deranged.
Mr. Felton!
Where was that philandering foreigner?
Mr. Felton!
How long can it take to seduce one bride?
Mr. Felton! You don't need Janet no more.
Kitty, not now!
I've been working on a mind reading act. Presenting Kitty, the incomprehensible. Now think of something.
Oh, I'm thinking of something, all right.
Wait! I'm getting it. Pick up some milk and a loaf of rye bread. And don't forget to shave your legs.
You're reading your own mind, you idiot!
No wonder it was so easy.
Mr. Felton!
It seems that the wedding is proceeding according to schedule.
Now it's time you received your just desserts. What do you say, Pondo? We whip up something special for Mr. Felton.
Yeah. How about a Toledo surprise?
An inspired choice.
That's a little surprise. I've never heard of that.
No, you haven't. Those who have heard of it are generally never heard from again.
We'll share the recipe with you.
First, you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
Then you bake it up nice and slow.
Then you go to Toledo. Toledo surprise!
Could you run that by me again?
It's a very simple recipe, Mr. Felton.
First, you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
Then you bake it up nice and slow.
Then you go to Toledo. Toledo surprise!
Say, why don't we give him a little taste?
All right.
Hold it! Oh, what style, grace, what rhythm! Open your fists. Now shake them. Now give me that recipe one more time. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Chop the nuts, pound the dough, bake it up, nice and slow. Then you got a Toledo, Toledo surprise.
Now salads.
Hit the beach, peel the skin, mush it up, throw it in. That's a tasty Toledo, Toledo surprise.
Go get
You heat it up, then you sweet it up. When you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it. It's a snap. Try it once. Whip your whites, split your yolks, then you got a Toledo. Toledo surprise.
You boys are naturally.
Honey.
Oh yeah. Keep it up. I'll go work on the contract. 6, 7, 8.
What's going on here?
Kitty, I'm going in act.
Toledo surprise.
You need to put
the chaperone.
What?
It is all. It is all. What? Robert kissed a French girl. Her name's Mimi. She's very beautiful.
I couldn't help it, Janet. She was just like you, only French. Owie!
Underling?
Yes, madam.
What is all this commotion about?
The wedding, madam.
Oh, is there going to be a wedding?
Not anymore. Oh, what tragedy. What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy. Clear the floor, boys. I'll show you how it's done. First you beat it up, then you sweet it up. When you heat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it. Toledo surprise.
Surprise! Wait till it's ready. Surprise! Wait till it's ready. Surprise!
Wait till it's ready.
That's ready. Surprise! You got it! Makes me twitch, makes me shake. This dessert takes the cake, hits me like a torpedo. Toledo surprise!
Toledo surprise!
Toledo surprise! Why are we dancing? Our dreams are in tatters.
Yes, but the tune is so infectious.
Oh, Robert, this is the saddest day of my life. Bells won't ring, bells won't chime. Never celebrate their happy wedding.
That's that. The curtain falls and it's time for intermission. At least it would be if we actually were sitting in the Morosco Theater watching the Drowsy Chaperone, which, of course, we are not. I don't like intermissions. They ruin the magic, you know? One moment you're lost in a magical world of music and romance, and then, bang, you're surrounded by tourists, crinkling candy bar wrappers and nattering about the lack of women's restrooms. It's cruel. It's a power bar. I have a bit of a blood sugar issue. I have to eat small meals throughout the day or else I get jittery. I know it's rude, but believe you me, you would not like the alternative. Believe you me. I remember my wedding day. I didn't eat breakfast and the ceremony wasn't until 4. I do! Were you surprised to hear that I was married? Well, there you go. You shouldn't go assuming things about people now, should you? I'm a very complicated person. I have to pee now. I'll be quick, I promise. And while I'm gone, you can listen to the beginning of Act 2. From the Drowsy Chaperone. That song was from another musical entirely. That song started Act 2 of another Gable and Stein show called The Enchanted Nightingale. A degrading piece of chinoiserie about an emperor who's told by a magic bird to marry his American elocutionist instead of his betrothed, and he ends up building the Great Wall of China. A slap in the face to 4,000 years of Chinese history, but it had some wonderful tunes. That was Beatrice Stockwell as American Lady, and did you recognize Roman Bartelli as the emperor? Yes, he was the man of 1,000 accents. All of them insulting. Act 2 of The Drowsy Chaperone begins with this. Haunting lament from a very depressed bride. She sings it on her balcony bathed in the pale blue light of a sympathetic moon, which is ridiculous because it's the middle of the afternoon. And now, while you're listening to this, try to ignore the lyrics. I know it'll be hard, but block them out, they're not the best. But the tune is beautiful and truly communicates the bride's state of mind. Just ignore the lyrics.
I put a monkey on a pedestal and tried to make that monkey stay. And he did it for a time, but he needed to climb, and with other monkeys play far away. He left his jacket on that pedestal beside his tiny rusty cup, and I haven't got the strength
jacket lying there on the pedestal. Its long sleeves dangling to the floor. Oh, monkey, monkey, monkey.
But I'll always save that pedestal for you. Come, my little monkey. Come, my little monkey. Do.
Okay, here we go.
Wait,
Who are you?
I'm Janet Vandergraft.
Do you need anyone?
I don't need anyone.
What about the love of one man?
What do I care for the love of one man when I am adored by millions? Do I need to be so gloomy? No, no, no. I can rule the world, and so I chose. Stephen Fry sends flowers to me every show. Gertrude Stein, she handed me a rose.
And now she really lets go.
I'm Janet Vandergraft. Ain't no nail that I can't hammer. Why give up a life of glamour? Life of glamour? Life of glamour? No!
I love this part. If you have your complete mental breakdown.
Monkey, monkey, monkey. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I don't wanna show off now. Monkey, monkey. I don't wanna spread word no more. Monkey, monkey. The greatest on earth no more. I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I wanna, I don't, I do, I don't, I do. I don't wanna show. But I think sure, Janet, future is secure, Janet, millions do just fine. I could ever care to shade. Just one, two times this cat who drives me Oh, Robert tries to make that like a fool I spin. Hapless fool. I know now that I love him, but I still don't know when. But his love enough is ever enough. The story of the monkey gone astray. Monkey, monkey, the stars. Monkey, monkey. Is it the monkey or my pedestal? I love monkey on
Don't you just love that number? It has everything. A little Busby Berkeley, a little Jane Goodall. And that's what I love about musicals in general. When a character had a crisis, they sing and they danced, which is so much more interesting than just whining about it. But that's the glory of musicals, I suppose. Oh, you see, this is what I'm talking about. This is like you managed to have 5 seconds and something starts ringing.
What a beautiful day for a wedding. Shall I have the pews removed now, or would you prefer I wait until morning?
Okay, I'm gonna stop this here because I don't want this number ruined by a ringing telephone. Here we have 2 vaudeville performers who have slipped through the cracks of time. They are Noel Fitzpatrick and Ukulele Lil. I don't know anything about them. I suppose Ukulele Lil played the ukulele, although she doesn't in this show. Actually, I tried to find out more about her. I went through all my books. I even tried the internet, but all of my searches ended in Tiny Tim's autopsy photographs. Anyway, they're both charming.
Why would you have the pews removed?
The bride has called off the wedding, madam.
Oh, underling, never listen to a bride on the day of her wedding. Love is a very complex emotion, underling. Yes, madam. Why, you can be very close to someone one moment, and the next moment, why, you just want to strangle them. You see? I understand. Yes, I'm familiar with the urge to strangle. You see, that's just the nature of love. Love makes lovers worry. Love makes lovers fret. But here's a fact on which we can depend. Just like long ago when Romeo loved Juliet, love is always lovely in the end. But Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy, madam. Oh, I never read reviews. Love can start a quarrel, love can cause a din, but love has always been a trusty friend. 'Twas a happy fate for Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Love is always lovely in the end. Might I remind you, madam, that Anne Boleyn had lost her head. She was in love. Love was good to Eve and Adam. Here we go again. And Samson and Delilah too. Good grief, may I pose a question? Madam, why, yes, of course. Why does nothing I say to you ever get through? Don't mind if I do. Love is always lovely in the end. Oh, I found that quite taxing. Excuse me, madam, while I pour myself a glass of ice water. Love sneaks up behind you. Love drops from above. But love would never consciously offend. Love has certainly been kind to me and my true love. Love is always lovely in the end. But your late husband was a brute. I don't mean him, you silly coot. Love is always lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Love is always lovely in the end. Love is always lovely in the end.
Yes, that was charming, but to be frank, on some level, that number pisses me off. Now, I'm going to say something here, and yes, I have been drinking, but I am going to go out on a limb and say that love is not always lovely in the end. Often in the end, there are lawyers. And another thing. Surely somebody was aware of the awkward sexual connotation of that title? I mean, is it just me? I guess what I'm saying is that number is naive and irresponsibly so. Sorry. I just thought that needed to be said for the benefit of the young people. I'll stop interrupting now. Oh, there's a moment coming up that I've become obsessed with.
There you are. Oh, Chaperone, I'm in a terrible state. Oh, you certainly are. You can't go to the wedding looking like that. Poor dear. Haven't you heard the wedding's been called off? Not your wedding. Mine! That reminds me, might I borrow your veil? You're getting married? But to whom?
La 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 la! Ah, beautiful lady with baffled expression.
You're marrying Adolfo. Oh, I know it's surprising, but when I look into his eyes, his big, clumsy eyes, I get all drowsy. And that's love, isn't it?
Oh, yes, dear, that is love. Help me.
There you are. All right, I'm gonna put my cards out on the table. I got a weak heart. I can't take the pressure. If this goes on any longer, the old ticker's gonna give out. Tell me, is there going to be a wedding or not?
Yes.
Thank the good Lord in heaven.
Adolfo and the chaperone are getting married.
What? There you are. I have wonderful news. There's going to be a wedding. We know.
You know?
Yes, we just just heard. But who told you?
I did.
But how did you know?
What difference does it make?
Mrs. Tottendale and I are to be married in the garden at 7:30 this evening.
What?
Oh, yes.
To everyone.
Say, what kind of cockamamie wedding is this? Everybody's getting married but the bride and groom.
There you are, Janet. I've been looking everywhere for you.
Hello, Mr. Martin.
Oh, Janet, don't be like that. Can't you find it in your heart to marry me? It is our wedding day after all, and Jane has gone to all this trouble, and I do love you more than I can say.
But you kissed another woman.
Yes, and I just can't explain it, but when I was kissing that French girl, like Janet, it was just like I was kissing you.
Oh, Robert. You were kissing me.
What? You mean you're Mimi? That French accent was remarkably accurate.
Why, thank you. I developed it when I played the role of Money Can Hold That Bedhead.
Oh, there you are. Before you do anything, think about this. No matter how well you play the part of the happy wife, you'll never, ever get a standing ovation.
Oh, I just don't know. Oh, I'm so confused. Chaperone, please, I beg you, just this once, give me some advice that is coherent and appropriate to the situation. Should I marry Robert?
Okay, here it comes, the moment I was talking about. And not only the culmination of the plot, but a moment that has fascinated me more than any other and has brought me back to this record again and again.
My advice to you is...
This is it, listen. Do you see? You can't quite make out what she's saying because somebody drops a cane. I'll play it for you again. Is she saying live while you can or leave while you can? I mean, it's Beatrice Stockwell, so it might just be a cynical quip, but this is a wedding, after all, and that's exactly what you think when you're standing there on the altar, isn't it? Live or leave. And you have to live, right? Because you do love her in some way. It's not an exact science. An arrow doesn't come down from the sky and point to the one you're supposed to be with. So one day you say it to someone. You say, I love you. And you basically phrase it as a question, but they accept it as fact, and suddenly there she is, standing in front of you in a $3,000 dress with tears in her eyes, and her nephew made the hubbub, so what do you do? Do you say, I was joking? I was kidding? No! You live, right? You choose to live. And for a couple of months, you stare at the alien form at the bed beside you and think to yourself, who are you? Who are you? And then one day you say it out loud, and then it's trial separation and couples counseling, and all of your conversations are about her eating disorder and yours all off addiction, and you're constantly redefining and reevaluating and revisiting until you finally lose the deposit on the house, and the whole relationship ends on a particularly ugly note with your only copy of Gypsy spinning through the air and smashing against the living room wall. But in a larger sense, in a broader sense, it's better to have lived than left. Right?
Well, you can't!
You have no idea how many times I've listened to that.
Chaperone, you certainly have a way with words. Robert? The answer is yes, I will marry you. Wonderful! Wonderful!
Well, Mr. Felsing, looks like this wedding's a done deal. Now you're in the trouble. And there's nothing you can do about it.
But there is. I found a replacement, a new leading lady. Presenting Kitty, the incomprehensible. Okay, Kitty. Now concentrate and show the boys how you can read my mind. My mind.
Kitty, will you marry
smarten yourselves up and we'll all get married in one big clump. That's how they do it in Utah.
Well, Jane, I don't know how you managed to pull it off. 4 weddings in one day. I guess you're everybody's best man now.
I am?
Of course!
I am!
Hip hip hooray! She's Jane, that's Jane, the best man Jane.
I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought.
She's basking in the glory of a fine well-marked.
Wedding bells will ring,
Wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time.
Minister, you may begin. Oh no. Oh, I forgot the minister. Who the hell are you?
I'm Trix, the aviatrix, queen of the sky. To realize was wondering when my engine needed mending. I'll fix my navigatrix and then I'll fly and let you lovers fly. Not so sorry to crash the party, folks, but we'll have my plane fixed in 2 shakes and then it's off to Rio for Carnival.
Wait till the captain of the ship can perform the marriage.
And your pilot is comparable to a captain.
An airplane is a kind of sheet. A sheet of the air. Some call it an air sheet.
Oh, shit! Wait! I got it! Tricks. You can marry them on the plane, then we'll all have the honeymoon in Rio.
A bride and groom in a chapel may bring a tear to the eye, but what a thrill when lovers trill! I do in the sky. When vows are said in a battle, the bees and daffodils sigh. But hearts beat when sweethearts must die. I do in the sky. To you we do. To you we do. To you
We do.
a bride and groom in a chapel may bring a tear to the eye. With the rainbows bending before us and clouds meandering by, one can't restrain that sweet refrain. I do in the sky. But heartbeats rush when sweethearts gush. I do in the
Up ahead, do you see it? Yes, it's Rio!
Well, hurry up, Trix. We've got some honeymoon to do.
Then fly, then fly. Such a thrill when lovers thrill, then fly. And clouds meandering by.
one can't restrain that sweet refrain. I
Oh no. Oh, I can't believe it. Okay, everybody stay calm. This happens occasionally. It's a horrible old apartment with terrible wiring. Just concentrate. Just keep the show alive in your mind. Don't talk to anybody. Don't let yourself be distracted. I'll find the fuse box. Everybody be quiet.
It's the super.
Oh, God.
Hi.
Hello?
Your lights are out.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to shut the power off because we're replacing the breaker panel in the basement.
Yes.
So we replaced it, but when we shut the power off, all the breakers in the apartment's tripped.
Yes.
So I gotta reset your breakers.
How?
It'll only take a minute.
All right.
Because I tried calling you earlier before, but there was no answer.
Oh, I've been having a problem with the phone.
Here we go. What was that?
It was a record.
Oh, what kind of music was that?
It was just music. It was a show, you know? A musical.
You like musicals?
No.
I love musicals. Yeah, I go with my mom all the time. It's amazing what they can do nowadays. Did you see Miss Saigon? They landed a helicopter on stage in that one. Yeah, I've seen them all. I've seen Cats, Les Mis, Saturday Night Fever. I like the movie better.
Really? Well, goodbye. Well, that's it. One note away from the end of the show. And the mood is broken. I should just start the record back again from the beginning. No, I can't do that. Can I? You have to understand. It's so frustrating. I love this show so much, and I've never even seen it. My mother gave me the record. This was just before my father left us. Oh, he didn't leave because of the record, although I'm sure it didn't help matters. Look, I know it's not a perfect show. The spit take scene is lame, and the monkey motif is labored. But none of that matters because it does what a musical is supposed to do. It takes you to another world, and it gives you a little tune to carry with you in your head. You know, a little something to escape the dreary horrors of reality. A little something for when you're feeling blue, you know? As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, but we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do.
Waiting to happen.